at a party. A buddy of mine was celebrating his then 60th birthday, Vietnam vet, conservative. And so I'm sitting at a table, and a woman is next to me. And she's complaining about how the rich don't pay anything in taxes. I thought she was joking. And then she said it again, and I realized she wasn't joking. And I said, you know, I'm part of the so-called rich you've been complaining about in that my income is above a certain level, which puts me in the top 1%. And I pay a boatload of taxes. I guess I'm too stupid to hire the CPA or an attorney that can get me out of the taxes. I have my tax return in my car. Would you like to see it? And she wasn't interested. And I said, let me ask you something. Of the top 1%, these are people making around $300,000 or more and above. Of the top 1%, what percentage of the federal income taxes do you think that top 1% pay? She said, what do you mean? So I drew an air circle. I said, assume this pie are all the federal income taxes. By percentage, what slice is paid by the top 1%? She goes, oh, I see what you're saying. She said, I think they pay 1%. I said, you think the top 1% pay 1% of the federal income taxes? She said, okay, maybe 2%. I said, you think the top 1% pay 2% of the federal income taxes? She said, yes. And you know what? She never asked me what the right answer was. By my expression, she knew what she said was probably wrong, but she didn't ask what the actual number was. I didn't volunteer it. I didn't think it would do any good. And she didn't ask because it wasn't going to change her attitude anyway. The top 1% at the time paid 39% of the federal income taxes. Now it's around 42%. So the top 1% is paying even more than they were paying before. What you ask is the share of the nation's income that goes to the top 1%. And the answer is around 20%. So the top 1% is paying twice by percentage as much in taxes as they're getting in income. And yet you have people like this woman at the party claiming that the top 1% do not pay their fair share in taxes.